what are you guys highlighting here at WasteExpo?
Yeah, so for this year at WasteExpo, really like what we do many years is our full technology package. So we're highlighting not only our robotics, but also our total intelligence platform, which is really a control system that we have in place that allows like full data analytics and connectivity for all of our smart pieces of equipment. So.
Now, I've noticed that this kind of technology and sorting has just been kind of increasing exponentially as the years go on.
Absolutely.
Why is that such a thrust these days? Why is it exploding now?
Well, there's a couple different drivers for that. Really, some of it has to do with hardware and supporting technology. So GPU capacity when you start to talk about artificial intelligence and how that rolls forward. I think also from the standpoint of there's a huge need for more data driven in waste processing. There's also this dire need for manual sorting replacements, right? Which is really, as we talk about labor shortages, they just exist in every tier of what we have to deal with. And I think this technology fits into that nicely, and that's the reason you see such an aggressive growth pattern in this space.
Now, let me ask you this, Thomas. What are the challenges in meeting today's needs of sorting with the hardware itself and the sorting, the optical sort or the robotic sorting?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of areas, I guess we could say, that you have to overcome when you're working through those different things. Part of it has to do with spatial constraints. Part of it has to do with financial constraints. There's also cultural constraints that really have to wrestle with and work through in a number of different areas. One of the ways that we've evolved and tried to overcome that is by offering a broad variety of technologies, including optical sorters, robotics technology, all those other pieces. I think when you talk about those difficulties, though, they all have to be dealt with in different ways, right? So culturally, for example, the replacement of manual sorting, how do you deal with that? What happens when you're offsetting that labor? But at this point, we know there's such a huge shortage. There's really not an offset that's taking place.
So each client, each customer is different.
That's exactly right. Yeah, absolutely.
And you guys cater to their specific needs.
That's exactly right. And any one of those things that need to be overcome, we have adaptive ways to basically overcome those for each individual customer. Each of our systems, while we offer very standardized products, each of our approaches and even the adaptability we build into the products is focused on just that need of how do you customize it for what the customer needs and what are they trying to do to drive business changes, right?
Let's switch gears a tiny bit into
Sure.
your data gathering analytics platforms. How are those going? That's really, to me, I mean, yeah, okay, you've got this really cool tech with the robots and the AI and stuff, but to me, the data collection and analytics is really a step up.
Oh, absolutely. Look, that's the transformational portion of the industry. I think robotics coming in were a big piece, but really, even as we started early on, we knew that there was this need for this data portion, what was really missing, because there's such a huge variety in just the material we see day in, day out. How do you extract the maximum amount of value? So even, 3.5, 4 years ago, we came up with this total intelligence platform that we drilled out, which really is one of the core factors of that is the data analytics portion. How does that roll forward? And we're seeing a lot of customers use that in very unique ways. One of the easiest ways to do that is they look at material just before it goes into the bunker and what comes onto the main sorting systems. At that point, they know what value they're putting in the bales that they're producing. We've got several customers using that, and they're seeing a very high accuracy of that number, and that's driving core decisions they're making about how to sell their product, how to move their product, even how to market their product, right?
That's very cool, and it's also very cool that their success kind of drives the success of the entire recycling industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. All of that strings through. So if we were to talk about a system that's processing MSW, that quality that we're driving into that material, the extraction and the diversion that we're driving in at that step translates forward into a plastics recycling facility, which ultimately translates into benefits that you and I have through society, and we see that through diversion, reduced carbon, improved circularity, all these things driven by being able to make those better decisions, right?
And I'm guessing you're not going to stop at the level of technology you've got right now, I imagine you guys are going to keep trying to tweak it, improve it, even change the game some more.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lots of areas for improvement that we're seeing, driving automation and even the machine learning and AI deeper into opticals, more advanced ways of grasping, and then using AI in driving autonomy of facilities. We have a facility that we're in the process of building out now where the portion of the plant, the container line, is essentially unmanned. It runs completely independent and makes its own decisions on when it wants to run, what material it's going to process, when it's going to decide to purge, all of those things, which we really feel is cutting edge, but it's definitely needed for the market space to drive the greatest amount of improvement.
Right. Wow. And Thomas, how accepting do you think the market is of all this technology, of your company and some of the other ones out there as well that are trying to do what you guys do?
Right.
How accepting is the market as a whole to all this new technology and developing technology?
Well, I think there's always, we're definitely operating in a vacuum, meaning that we're being pulled along to where that is. We're definitely listening to the customers. They're the ones that are communicating. We want more data. We need a reduction in manual sorting. We've got to drive more value into there. And so there's absolutely a need, and there's a draw from that side into what is. Most are very accepting of what's going on. You do still have some pockets where people are just not ready to move, but those people are progressively being pushed into that, especially as we see more stringent EPR regulations that are going on. We see ESG initiatives that are really being pushed, and this technology is what's going to enable those to be realized going forward.
Right. So if they want to accomplish their own goals,
absolutely,
they're going to have to adopt the technology.
They will. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thomas, anything else that you can think of that I have not asked you about?
No, great questions. No, I think we covered it all.
Appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you.